Mhm.
the game.
Go ahead.
So yeah, so I just want to make sure I'm correct on this, right?
Mm.
Uh, I understand, right? Having game is basically having a skill
Mhm.
and or strategy
Mhm.
that's designed to get what you want on your own terms, right?
Right.
Okay. So outside of dating, outside of women and etc., is this concept also applied to everything else in life?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, if that's the case, right, then like most people would say honestly, like, they would love to get free food and free clothes, right? Let's say most people, like, who would want to buy, stuff for, let's be real here, who would really want to buy that if they could get it for free, right?
Mhm.
So if getting free food and clothes is my desire,
Mhm.
buying it isn't on my own terms. So does that mean I don't have game in that area?
Well, if you wanted free food, then you would need to find a way in order to create a situation where you can get free food. So let's say, for example, let's say you're a grown ass person and you're like, I don't feel like buying no food. So let me get my mom or dad or whatever to buy me food, give me money for food or cook me food. You might be a chick who finds a guy who's going to pay for her food, pay for her rent, all this other stuff. You might be in some sort of job or some sort of industry where you can actually get free food as a bonus to whatever you're doing in that industry. So if that's something that's very important to you, then you might say, okay, what can I do to either get that thing or get the equivalent of what that thing is? That's how you do it.
Okay, and that goes for clothes as well. That goes for really anything.
That goes for anything. That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that you have to identify what you want and figure out, how do I get that thing? You understand? And also you got to identify, okay, what are the things that I would need to do to get the thing or to be in the situation where I'm getting something equivalent to that thing. Because there's certain things sometimes where you're not going to be able to do based on logistics, but you can still get something equivalent to that thing based on what the situation is and how you go about it. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. I didn't even think of, yeah, that makes sense. But my thing is like, so, and it must be on your own terms for it to be considered game.
Yeah, because if it's not on your terms, that means that you're not actually getting what you want. Because if you're getting what you want, it's on your terms. On your terms is directly correlated to what you want. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, and I think I asked you this question again. Maybe you could help refresh my memory because sometimes learning things you need repetition is the mother of learning. So I would like for you to quickly touch over the concept of like black and white thinking in the game. Because let me give you an example, right? I personally run a business, and in my business, I set it up where if somebody wants to get a certain item, because I run an e-commerce store, I'm an e-commerce business owner.
Right.
So if somebody wants to pick up an item, I tell them a location, and we agree on the price and everything. But and that's my terms. Either you get it shipped to you, or you meet me at a location close to me that I could give you the item.
Right.
I had situations where people they couldn't go with either option, and they meet them where they were. And I went that way and things went well, right? Like nothing, I still got what I wanted, which was the transaction, really. Like that's the bottom line, to get the thing done, right? To get the sale, to close the sale. So that wasn't particularly in fully my terms, though. I had to low-key compromise a bit, but I was still happy because I got to make that sale.
Right, but
so
the question is your terms getting the sale or your terms getting the sale how you want to get the sale?
I would say it's really the bottom line that's the most important thing to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. What's your bottom line? Is it getting the sale or getting the sale how you want to get the sale?
I would say getting the sale.
Okay, so basically, no matter how you get it, you still, if that's the way you want it, that's on your terms. So whether they come to you or you got to come to them or you got to take a plane, a train, or it don't matter, because all your bottom line is, I want to get the sale. You understand? So it doesn't matter how you're getting it, you just want to get it, right? So then how you get it don't matter.
Okay, so cool. So let's stay there real quick. Now let's apply this to dating real quick, right?
Right.
When you say that a guy is okay, all right. So let me get this straight. Would you say that a guy who his bottom line is just getting sex from a woman and he doesn't care how it's done, that's his bottom line? Would you say he has game if he like maybe tricks for it?
Yeah, if he actually wants to trick, right, and he doesn't give a shit and he's doing it, then he has game. The problem is most tricks don't want to trick. You see what I'm saying? So they're not like, hey, I really get off on trick and it gets my dick so hard that I pay this woman. If that's the case, then he has game because he's getting what he wants on his terms, exactly how he wants it. Most guys are tricking because they can't get it for free. Just like the passport bros, they go overseas because they can't get it here. If they got it here, they would never fucking buy a plane ticket. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, the fact that they're buying the plane ticket to go over there means they are not getting it on their terms, because their terms would be, I want to get it here. They're only getting it there because they can't get it here. You see what I'm saying? Now, if a guy was like, listen, I truly, in the bottom of my heart, right, only like fucking girls in Brazil, and that is the thing that turns me on. My dick can't even get hard for any woman on earth except for her being on Brazil, and he goes to Brazil and he's like, this is how I want it and love it, then he's actually has game by doing that thing. The problem is most guys lie to themselves. This is what they do. They do something and then they try to rationalize it in their mind to lie to themselves to think this is how they wanted it. You see what I'm saying? They try to rationalize it even though they're basically doing things that are not on their terms.
Okay, so at the end of the day, a man, whatever the situation is, whatever he's trying to do, it's important that he figures out what he wants. That's number one. And then figures out how he wants to go about getting that, or the terms in terms of like how he gets that.
Right, but it has to be real and authentic. So meaning, if I say, you know what, I want to fuck a bad chick, right? And I'm attracted to these baddies. And what I really want is I want chicks to come through to my house to fuck me on my couch, right? That's my terms. I want it that way. Now, let's say I meet a baddie and then she's like, hey, but you know, come over my place. And then you say, well, I did go over her place, but I was in her neighborhood, right? So it just made more sense for me to go over there. And the bottom line is I was trying to fuck the baddie. No, nigga, your game is weak. You understand? And now you're trying to rationalize it and say the bottom line was getting the pussy. No, the bottom line was getting the pussy at your place, fucking on your couch. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So if you can get that, then your game is tight. If you can't get that, your game is weak. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. How about, so if a guy, just to clarify, so if a guy just don't care how he gets pussy, are you judging that type of game? Like, let's say that's just his thing. Like he's just, his bottom line is, I just want to get pussy. I don't care how I get. That's how I want to do it. Is that game to you?
Yeah, but this is the thing. Most guys care. So, like for example, you ever heard of a guy called an incel?
Yeah, of course.
Why do incels exist when they could just pay for it?
I think it's because they want genuine desire from the woman.
Exactly, because they care. That's what I'm saying. So their terms are, I want a girl to fuck me because she likes fucking me. You understand? These niggas still go get some pussy and pay for it, but they actually care. So what I'm saying is, and this is the thing, a guy who has game always cares because him caring is based on his principle and standard. So he's not gonna be like, well, I don't care how I get it. If you don't care how you get it, that means you're desperate. If you're desperate, you ain't got no fucking game.
Okay, so exactly. So a guy who doesn't care how he gets it doesn't have game.
Right, because if you had game, you would care, because caring is directly correlated to your standards and principles as a man. Does that make sense?
All right, but yeah, it does. But you kind of just said that how he gets it, he gets it. That's his game.
Right, but so what I'm saying, because this is what you're not getting. What I'm saying is you have to have some sort of standard or principle or way you do things. Right? So my way of doing things may be different than this guy's way of doing things, and maybe different from this other guy's way of doing things. But we all have a specific way we do things. So based on the specific way we do things, right? That is the thing of how we're going to do things in the situation. And if we're able to acquire what we want through the way we do things, that means we have game. Now, if we can't get the things we want by doing it our way, that means that our game isn't tight enough to get it our way. Does that make sense? Like, I want you to understand it. So for example, like I said with the guy who's a trick, if the guy is a trick, right, and he gets off on, like, let's say he truly gets off on fucking girls, like he needs to pay the girl to get his dick hard. That's like a fetish for him, right? So he's like, I need to pay a chick. I need to put the money on the table, and I need her to get naked, and I need her to fucking call me a fucking stupid, dirty trick or whatever, and that just gets me off, right? Now, if he's in a situation and he wants to fuck, and then this girl's like, well, I don't want you to pay me. I want you to fuck me for free. I don't want your money. And he's like, all right, fuck it. He don't got no fucking game because he's getting pussy without having the trick, even though tricking is his way of getting pussy. Does that make sense? That's what I'm trying to tell you. So it has to be his way in order for it to be where he has game. If it's not your way and they're trying to come up with excuses or rationalizations or trying to make it fit in some sort of way, then that's not having game. Do you see what I'm saying? That means your game is weak.
Okay, and would you say for a man to find out how exactly he wants to achieve something, like on his own terms, his principles and his standards, is that something that he finds from within himself?